Before you judge someone's worth by their clothes, ask yourself, would you still show respect if they had nothing to offer you? This is not just a story about arrogance, power, or business. It's a story about a quiet test, and how an entire bank failed it, for the whole world to see. Leave this wanderer alone. A $3 billion lesson in respect. It began on a quiet Monday morning. An old man with gray hair and a worn-out folder walked slowly into a downtown bank. His name was Don Ezequiel. His clothes were simple, his shoes dusty. But his eyes calm, sharp, focused. No one knew the truth. This man was the father of Matias Echeverria, CEO of one of the continent's biggest investment firms. He had come on behalf of his son to see how regular people are treated in banks, before signing a deal worth $3 billion. But no one even looked at him properly. Not the employees. Not the security guard. Not even the manager. Her name was Veronica. Blonde, proud, and always in a rush. As the old man approached her desk, she rolled her eyes. "Sir, you can look that up online," she snapped, cutting him off before he finished speaking. "We don't have time for basic questions." When Ezequiel tried to explain that his son had sent him, and he wanted to talk about business accounts, she raised her hand to silence him. "You don't belong here," she barked. "This is a bank, not a charity." People nearby smirked. One chuckled. A security guard stepped closer, then backed off. Veronica pointed at Ezequiel's clothes and scoffed. "Look at him. Torn papers. A beggar. And you think someone like that is here for an investment?" She kicked his documents onto the floor. Still, Ezequiel didn't raise his voice. He bent down, slowly picking up the papers while breathing heavily. The shame, the pain, but he stayed quiet. "My son won't believe this," he whispered. An employee laughed. "Oh sure, and I suppose he owns the building too?" Veronica had had enough. "Get this crazy man out before he disturbs others," she ordered. 2 guards came forward. Ezequiel tried one last time. He held out a paper with his son's name and company logo. One guard crushed it and threw it aside. "Sir, leave now or we'll remove you." Ezequiel froze. Not out of fear, but heartbreak. A woman in line finally spoke up. "Why don't you just listen to him?" Veronica snapped at her too. "I'm the one in charge. And if you want trouble, you can go with him." The woman fell silent. As the guards opened the door to force him out, Ezequiel looked back at the bank staff and said, "I came here today as a stranger. But tomorrow, I'll return as the owner." Everyone laughed. Veronica scoffed. "Owner? You're mad. Get out of here." Ezequiel walked out, broken but with his dignity intact. He sat on a bench outside. Took a long, deep breath. This wasn't just mistreatment. This was the face of prejudice, against the quiet, the old, the unknown. A few kilometers away, Matias sat in a boardroom, waiting. When his phone rang, he answered immediately. "Son," Ezequiel said quietly, "don't deal with that bank. They're not even worth a signature." Matias clenched his jaw. "Did they mistreat you? They stepped on your documents. Laughed in my face. Called me a beggar." Matias didn't hesitate. He canceled the bank partnership on the spot. Then emailed the bank's president, requesting a full audit. What they didn't know was that Ezequiel had filmed the whole thing, a test of ethics, planned by father and son. The next morning, Ezequiel returned to the bank. But this time, he wasn't alone. 2 lawyers. A press secretary. And beside him, quietly dressed in slacks and a jacket, stood Matias Echeverria, the CEO. The moment Veronica saw Ezequiel, she froze. The same crazy old man from yesterday. But something was wrong. The guards didn't move this time. They stood still. The air had changed. Matias walked to the center of the room. "My name is Matias Echeverria. I'm CEO of Echeverria Capital. I'm not here to make a deal with you. I'm here to close a deal about you." A lawyer handed over a folder. Yesterday, your branch violated multiple policies on customer inclusion and respect, he said. It's all on video. The partnership has been terminated. A formal complaint has been filed. Veronica turned pale. Matthias looked straight at her. You don't know the kind of business you just lost. And it wasn't even about me. It was my father you were being tested on. And you failed. Then he turned to Ezequiel, respectfully. Dad, this deal was always yours. Ezequiel looked at Veronica one last time and said softly, You only respect someone once they wear an expensive suit. What a shame. Outside, the media had arrived. The story had leaked. Ezequiel told his story on camera, the quiet humiliation, the disrespect. Veronica's face was full of panic. She knew what this meant. That afternoon, the bank released a statement. The branch manager had been suspended. An internal review was underway. But the damage was done. Online, Veronica's name went viral, a symbol of pride, arrogance, and classism. Meanwhile, Ezequiel became a national voice. He was invited to speak at events and universities about dignity, respect, and hidden power. Days later, Matthias spoke in a televised interview. That test wasn't for my father, he said. It was for them. And they failed. The video was shared millions of times. And in the comments, elderly viewers from around the world said one thing. We've all been that old man at some point. He walked in as a stranger, and left as a symbol. A symbol of every person who's ever been overlooked, ignored, or humiliated, just because they didn't look the part. Remember this. True character is revealed not by how you treat the powerful, but how you treat the powerless. If this story moved you, like, share, and comment below. Because respect is the one investment that always pays back.